Hi and welcome to day 33 of Counting the Omer. Yesod within Hood. I spent some time this morning to sense into the quality and the words and the emotions and different aspects of Yesod and how this can be seen within the hood, because we are still in the splendor, the glory of God, that aspect of God which is so glorious, which is within us and in everything we see, everything we are a part of. And there is this sense of a greater force behind things, sometimes the greater force in how the universe is moving, the strange synchronicities that comes. Yesterday I had so many synchronicities coming to me. I was just in this wow feeling the whole day. And I think I shared with you, I had this beautiful dream about a hare, like a rabbit, who was so cuddling and so full of love just a few days ago. And yesterday I was talking with my friend about the hare. And she has this guidance card, which comes from a shaman Sami woman in Norway. And they are so powerful. And of course she picked a hare. And at the same time, one of my posts from last year, when I actually had a real hare coming to me and sitting on my porch in the morning when I got up. That's very rare. I've never seen that before. This beautiful little hare was sitting there, and I took a picture of it and I shared it, and I also shared another dream about the hare that I had. So the hares keep coming back to me and speaking to me. And yesterday she picked the card, the hare card, and the message from the guidebook was so beautiful, and the words were so in alignment with the medicine that I need right now. And this makes me so humble, which is also Hood. And it feels so easy to just surrender and trust. When God shows his support, her support, its support, through my friends, through synchronicities like that, through Mother Earth and her spirits, it gives me such a feeling of witnessing how beautiful and how magic life can actually be. And it also makes me so grateful. And that's also another aspect of Hood, which I haven't spoken that much about. But it comes naturally when we are in this energy. I remember the first time I was doing this counting, and I was reading the book and trying to understand the Sephiroths and the Tree of Life, and what is this really, and why is these words put together into this container, and but the more and more, and I get to know them, feel them within me, see the glory in everything, the more I understand why these words are put into the same container: gratitude, surrender, trust, humbleness. Because that is what you actually experience emotionally when you learn to see the glory of God in every detail that is. It's just so beautiful. And then I was contemplating how does this feel like when the Yesod is within the hood? So it's not hood within Yesod. That one I can very easily connect with in a way. But when we turn it around, bring the Yesod into the splendor, into the glory. I was again reminded about those 4 aspects. So we have the emotional aspect, we have the physical aspect, we have the spiritual aspect and the mental aspect. And I was asking myself, Yesod, what is this really? What is this quality of God that I have within me, which is Yesod? And of course, it's my desire and my creativity to create new life. I have this internal drive to create. And we can create so many different things, and there are so many different ways of creating. But the most physical, down to earth, obvious thing is to create a baby. And that happens through sexuality and intimacy. So sexuality and intimacy is a part of the Yesod. And when I was thinking about sexuality within glory and splendor, I couldn't help but smile because I could so recognize that feeling. You know, when you are together with someone you deeply love and you trust and you feel safe and it's beautiful. I have some experiences where it's like I experience God within this lovemaking. Just listen to the word. We are creating love. Ah, it's so beautiful. And sometimes there's explosions of light and beauty. And sometimes the shadows comes up and it's the opposite. Right now I'm in the mountains. I'm hosting a retreat. So there are different sounds around me and the nature is different and the energy is completely different. There are so powerful mountains here. It makes me so humble. There's so much wisdom in those mountains. There's so much history. And this land is full of crystals, so it's like the whole place is vibrating. And every time I'm here, my manifestation ability just accelerates, and it's like this vortex. I can't really explain it, but it's a very powerful place, and I always meet some important people when I come here, and important connections. And when we learn to see the beauty in that, and to see how intelligent everything is, that we have these different places spread out to the earth, that makes it like a magnet that pulls people towards it. And we go there and we meet those we need to meet. That's really Yesod within splendor and glory. And then I was sitting in the group yesterday, and I was sensing into this feeling of being so lucky to be in a circle of so beautiful people and souls, and getting to know them and their stories and their traumas and their wounds and their beauty and their glory. So many have forgotten. And I see how different we are, and yet we are so similar So it's all this diversity that has this intelligence behind it, which is the hood also. And then behind that, there is just oneness and love and connection and union. So today I'm tapping into that beautiful sensation of community and the glory and the beauty and splendor in that, everything that can be created between us when we come together with other people. Every time we meet another person, we create something. We create a third energy. You have your energy, you have your energetic field and your feelings and your thoughts and ideas. And then you meet another person, and that person has his or her unique gifts and ideas and thoughts and creative desires. And you come together, and because 1 + 1 becomes 2, you create something completely new. Because you are merging something together. So you are still you and I am still me. But between us, there is the unknown aspect of God. And when I remember that, oh my God, there's such a strong feeling of like orgasmic, creative beauty and splendor and explosions of colors and potential that just is there between us, waiting to be manifested into form in some way or another. And the more mindful we become about what we want to create and direct our creative desires and align it to be in one with the glory of God, the glory within, that light, that explosion of light, which is who you are. And that is what you bring into your relationships with people. Oh my God, what a potential, what we can do here on earth. How we can create communities and music and art and beautiful buildings and landscapes. We can even create beautiful gardens in co-creation with Mother Earth. It's so beautiful. Think of that. If you are one of those who likes to gardening, imagine you are doing it together with her and together with all the spirits of the plants and the flowers you're planting. It's not just you. It's a co-creation. It's a co-creation with the water, the fire, the air, and the soil. So what we want to create, our desire to create, when we purify that, and we no longer are driven by those animalistic desires or driven by our needs. If our sacral area and our root is not really healthy and strong, and the foundation of our building is full of wounds and traumas, it can be quite hard to create relationships which are mainly made of love and freedom, because we also create from those old wounds. But the more we purify ourselves, the more we bring into wholeness and integrate those lost aspects of our soul and fragmented parts, the more beauty we create as well. The more connected we also feel The separation slowly dissolves. So when the Yesod is out of balance and it's full of wounds, we feel separated. Separated from earth, separated from our soul, separated from God, separated from friends and lovers and kids. But when this diamond have been cleared and purified, and there is only this feeling of oneness and endless creative power, oh la la, what we can do. We can allow that to rise up to the left hip into the glory, the feminine side. The beauty of just being who you are and connecting from doing nothing. Just because you are you and you meet another person, something is created and you don't even have to do anything. It's just because you are vibrating, you are alive. So an invitation today to you. What if you have an intention of creating something beautiful today? Whatever that is for you. When I said that, I had this picture of having some flower petals, rose petals and some rocks and things, and just creating a beautiful picture of that, putting them out on the ground and making some circles, some patterns. Maybe you can have some branches in there as well, and some sand maybe. You know, it doesn't have to be so hard. You can also just sit down with a pen and create a heart and put some beautiful colors on it. Just for you to manifest into form something beautiful, something glorious, something splendorous, without having any fear that what you are creating is not beautiful enough, because that's not true. Everything we create is beautiful. Everything is love, because we are love. And love can never go away. Love can never get lost. It's just that we experience the opposite sometimes. We experience pain and suffering. But that is also love. Because it's showing us what's good and what's not good in a way. But sometimes what we at one moment think of that is not good ends up to be the best thing you ever experienced. You know, when I had cancer, I quite quickly realized that this will definitely bring me something. You know, this will somehow be good in the end. And now I can be a gift and a supportive humankind to people who are going through the same thing. That's so beautiful. So in that perspective, everything is love. Everything supports us in one way or another. Doesn't take away the responsibility. We should not harm another being. We should love another being. We should not act out of fear, but love. But yet we do, so many times. But that's okay. But the more mindful we become, the more we purify our minds and hearts and bodies, the easier it will be to be aware, at least, of how our actions has consequences, and that we ourselves can choose to create love and glory. So may you have a beautiful creative day and allow yourself to be a part of that beautiful, splendorous nature. See the beauty within your body. Allow yourself to have an orgasm and see the beauty in that. Feel the beauty in that. Feel the splendor of explosions and stars and suns and light. I remember one time I had a dream that I was walking through a park, and I passed by two girls who were playing music. They were playing a guitar and they were sitting there and singing, and I was just passing by them without even really noticing them, really. And this park was so open, there was almost no trees there. There was just a giant open field. And maybe after I passed them, maybe I walked for about 50 meters or something, I suddenly heard that they started to play another song, which I knew as the Mary Magdalene song, which I've only heard in a retreat once, but I knew that this song was channeled by Mother Mary to the woman who sings this song. And when I heard that in my dream, when I heard this song, I immediately recognized it as the Mary Magdalene song. So I turned and I started to walk towards those two women. And I was so quick because I felt it was such a rush to get there in a way. And I started to fly. I ran so fast in a way that I got lifted up from the earth, and I started to ascend towards the heaven, and I started to fly directly upwards, and then my head hit something like a surface, and it was ice cold, like having like someone throwing ice water over your head. It was like shock in my head. But when I woke up from the dream, this orgasmic feeling started to spread out into all my cells. I had so much goosebumps within me, and it spread out into my whole body. You know that itchy feeling before you're having an orgasm. That's how it felt like within my whole body. I was completely orgasmic for 3 days. And you can imagine it was quite a pleasurable feeling. So I was just in there enjoying that. I was meditating a lot. I spent a lot of time out in nature. And of course, this dream has so much wisdom. I will not go into the details about it, but it's about the Christ oil, and when that is released from the pineal gland once a month. So every time that happens, and it's important, Mary Magdalene comes and she shows herself in my dreams. It's very interesting. But anyways, that's how beautiful life can actually be. And I feel that creation in itself and our life force, it is quite sexual. it is quite alive. And when we tap into that, it feels quite nice. A way to awaken this, to get in touch with it, is to move the body. Do yoga, do pranayama, or whatever you like to do. Go for a run, go into the ocean, swim. But especially the hip area needs to be moved. That's where the Yesod lies. That's the sacral area where our desire to create new lives, new babies, the sexual organs, it's there. The desire comes from there. But we can tune that desire to become God-like. So we don't use it to create things that's actually harmful for us or other people or the Mother Earth. Because we as humans, we create a lot of shit right now. And we need to stop that. So whenever we have a desire for things that are harmful to us, that's when you are in the shadow side of the Yesod. Addiction, for example, it's all connected with the Yesod or the sacral chakra. And this often appears if we have this feeling of lack of love, that our needs were not met when we were younger, or we experienced really heavy trauma as young children or in grown-up lives. So when I work with this area, yesterday I felt such an urge to buy orange flowers. So I work with orange. Yeah. Work with orange. And it's so beautiful because one of the women I know is listening to this. She's here at the retreat with me, participating in the retreat. And yesterday she came in all orange. Her shirt was orange and her nails were orange. And I was like, oh God, that's medicine to me right now. And when you look back at my dream, which I shared with you the other day, where I somehow felt like I had a surgery during the night in my sacral area, and I gave birth to a child, and it was not this was really trauma dream. It was horrible dream. And then I feel like buying orange flowers and work with the orange and work with the sacral. So this is where I hold most trauma from, not only this life, but also past lives, sexual abuse, traumatized parents, and so on. All of this we have and we hold in our wombs, but it needs to be released. And we need to work with the body to release it because it's there. It's the memory in the body is still there in a way. So even though we have worked with it emotionally and mentally, there's still this spiritual aspect of it, and there's still this body aspect of it. Yeah. Okay. I think I will end it with that today, returning back to my beautiful group here. I hope you feel it because I'm so full of love. And I just want to share that with you, to be the channel of love coming from God. This fountain of endless river of love is flowing through me right now, and I feel my heart is so open. So hope that you somehow and the other side who is listening can actually feel it. That's my wish for you. May you walk in peace and beauty and harmony and love today. Namaste.